Center, so we look at things.
The following program was recorded at the annual SMC3-Winter-Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm pleased to welcome Editorial Director of Supply Chain Brain, Jean Murphy.
Hello. Today I'm joined by Paige Sipland, Executive Director of the Center of Innovation for Logistics. Welcome, Paige.
Thank you for having me.
Give us a little bit of an overview and history of the center.
The Georgia Center of Innovation for Logistics is about 4 years old. It's the state's leading resource in fueling competitiveness, as we say, for Georgia's logistics industry. It's unique that it has a state-led initiative around the strategic industry that is logistics, but university hosted by our university partner. In our case, hosted by the Georgia Institute of Technology. And it's an economic development strategy on how we can help companies that are already in Georgia, and also from an economic development point of view, help recruit new companies to be in our neck of the woods here in Georgia.
So is it state-funded as well?
It is a state-led and state-funded initiative, yes.
What do you consider to be some of the key differentiators between your center and other centers for excellence that are out there?
Well, I guess if you think about being a differentiator, there has to be some difference to compare it to. I would say that our Center of Innovation here in Georgia is unique for a few reasons. One, again, it is state-led, so we've identified logistics as a strategic industry for Georgia, and we're using the state's resources to help drive that industry. Focusing from an economic development point of view on technology and helping the companies that already are in our neck of the woods. We have close to 11,000 logistics providers in our state, and helping them be more competitive and be a better asset for our country's movement of goods is what we're all about. And I would argue that not a lot of other places are looking at it comprehensively as a logistics industry. You can talk to the trucking industry. There's a very robust trucking industry and trucking associations, and on down the line of all the different components that make the logistics industry so complex. We try to bring all that together as a unique differentiator for Georgia.
So it's all forms of transportation. Does it include ports as well? How do you define logistics as an industry?
Well, the logistics industry, again, why we call it strategic, I think arguably in the United States it's a strategic industry, but just in Georgia alone we have the fourth largest port down in Savannah, a lot of different assets around the country that are unique. The governor likes to say we have a corner store location for moving goods. Some of the data and information that we collect as an innovation center helps back that up, shows where goods are moving to and from, where they want to be, where they want to go, and help to drive that by supporting our industry. But it is all modes, including airport. Hartsfield-Jackson Airport is the busiest passenger airport in the world, and in the top 10 for freight movement as well. So we have a lot of unique assets that we capitalize and help grow all the different components, from the 3PLs to the freight forwarders to customs brokers to railroads and on down the line, again, that come together to be a logistics industry.
Are there any key areas that you specifically focus on in terms of your education or research?
Well, it is an innovation center, so we look at things that are introductions of something new, primarily technology, not always technology. There's a lot of things that need to happen, and for small businesses specifically to compete, that cover a lot of different technology areas, but also process, introducing things that are new. So technology innovation is our sweet spot, but we are looking at other things that need to happen at a state policy level, also advising and helping on the federal policy level as well.
Can you give us any examples of the impact that the center has had on business activities in Georgia?
Sure. If we look at the definition of innovation being the introduction of something new, for example. If we look at the policy level of the state, for example, we've worked to create the state's first freight plan. That's a statewide initiative. If we look at the industry as a whole, movement of goods and what the states can do to be better partners to the private industry is a key component of that. They play a role in their infrastructure, in the highways, and some of the rail-owned capacity, but also in policy. How can we help support that industry at a state level? To do that, you need to have a strategic plan if you're going to have it be a strategic industry, obviously. And we've helped support and drive and build that first statewide freight and logistics plan for Georgia. So that's exciting. That's something new. That's innovative. And I think Georgia is leading the way in creating some of those policies to support a strategic industry.
Right. So, and is that focused on growing that industry in Georgia?
Yes, growing it.